continuous support and help whenever it has been needed. I would also like to welcome all the heads of Anglo-Indian schools in India, as well as all our guests who have been requested to be with us to help make this conference a more meaningful one. Our guest speakers, who will be addressing us during this conference, as well as the members of the press and the publishers, are also extended a hearty welcome, for they will be contributing towards the success of this conference. Before I hand over the mic to our host, I would like to highlight a few qualities and achievements of our esteemed guest of honor, His Excellency Mr. B.S. Joshi. Born in a humble family in Rajasthan, His Excellency began his career in 1957 with the State Police Service in Rajasthan itself. He then moved on to the central government in 1962. From then onwards till date, sir has been actively involved in public service, holding different offices of great importance. One particular quality nurtured and propagated by Sir, which I must say has been very rightfully sung by our children. The last few lines is the last song they sang. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. These lines appropriately highlight what our governor follows and propagates. He does this to the various government organizations and social groups that Sir heads from time to time. Sir, we are indeed honored to have you with us this morning. Thank you very much.
I request the Secretary of the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools of India, Mr. David Hilton, to speak to us a bit about the association.
His Excellency Shri B.S. Joshi, Governor of Uttar Pradesh, delegates of the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools in India, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather for the 90th conference of the Association in the historic and beautiful city of Lucknow, it is pertinent to note that the Association was established in 1925 with the purpose of providing our schools and heads a forum and a platform to meet and exchange ideas on matters pertaining to Indian education. The association has over the years benefited from the outstanding contributions of its illustrious members, representing a wide spectrum and diverse range of interests and concerns in fostering and nurturing a common culture and tradition of excellence. Anglo-Indian schools, apart from their commitment to educational excellence, have over the years nurtured and propagated values of Indian citizenship among the students, provided yeoman service to the weaker and marginalized sections of society, empowering the girl child, and have created social mobility and fostered national integration. The theme for this year's conference is redefining Anglo-Indian education and the contribution Anglo-Indian schools have made to modern-day education in India. Our deliberations over the next few days will focus on addressing the numerous challenges Anglo-Indian schools face in a rapidly changing scenario while continuing to remain in the vanguard of Indian education. As heads of Anglo-Indian schools, we have pledged ourselves to ensure that our schools become places where all children are welcome as they are and challenged to grow and are prepared to take their rightful place in society. Your Excellency, the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools in India is indeed honored and privileged to have you preside at this inaugural ceremony of the 90th Annual Conference. Thank you so much.
Joshi to address us.
Mr. Mann, President of All India Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools, Mr. Hilton, Secretary of the All India Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools, Mr. F. President of All India Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools, UP Chapter, and Srimati Abraham, Secretary of All India Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools, UP Chapter. The heads of Anglo-Indian schools from all over the country, the dear students, ladies and gentlemen. Before I say anything else, let me say a special word of appreciation for the young lady who performed the Kathak dance on the stage. She was absolutely marvelous and I think earned the appreciation of all of us here. I am very fond of classical dancing. I think she was probably one of the best that I have seen. I also should say a word of appreciation for the very inspiring chorus sung by the students here. It's a beautiful message given in the chorus, and I have a similar one on my desk, but this one will find place along with that message on my desk, and I thank you very much for such an inspiring message being planned here. Distinguished guests, let me begin by saying how greatly privileged and happy I feel today to be part of this exalted assembly. I have a very special feeling for the education in schools. My thought is that much of a person's character is formed in the basic years when the schooling in the school starts, and in that way you are pioneers and also almost 200 islands of excellence wherever you are spread out, creating that foundation in the youth to be productive and effective good citizens in the country. That is a great role that the school should play and do play in our country, and I particularly feel that the Martiniere schools are real good examples of that center of excellence. The beautiful words in the chorus take us to the real message of Christianity. Holding hands with somebody who needs you, taking him along somewhere to success or a happiness in his life, and that's what I think life is all about. This Association of Heads of Indian Schools, established in 1925 to meet for an exchange of ideas on matters concerning Indian education, has done a laudable job. In the last 8.5 decades of existence, the association has benefited from the exceptional contribution of its members, representing a wide spectrum of interests and concerns from all over the country, and has in turn nurtured a common culture and ethos that has inspired and sustained Anglo-Indian schools. I have had the privilege of knowing quite a few of the students, teachers and principals in some of the states that I have worked in, and I have a great appreciation for what they are doing. I am told that a recurrent theme at the conferences all these years has been the responsibility these schools have in nurturing the values of Indian citizenship amongst their students. It is worth noting that several Anglo-Indian schools, which were established more than 100 years ago, were the mainstay of Indian education at that time. Further, these schools have influenced contemporary Indian education as we know it today in respect of their emphasis on character building, value education and national integration. The countries and human beings who have risen high, progressed and led an ideal life have done so because of their characters. Japan and Germany had been completely destroyed after the Second World War, but within 50 years they bounced back to glory. This was due to the steely determination of their character of their people. All the educational institutions, including the Anglo-Indian schools, have a great responsibility to impart value education to their students. Today we need talented and skilled people in various specialized fields for development of our nation, and that is where the responsibility should start with our schools. Besides this all, the educational institutions should inculcate an intense feeling of being proud to be an Indian amongst their students. They may belong to any caste, any religion, or any strata of society, but this feeling that they are proud Indians should be the core of our national integration. I sincerely believe that Anglo-Indian schools will carry on the glorious tradition of providing value education to their students with emphasis on character building, excellence in education, and national integration. I again welcome you all to our historic city of Lucknow and wish you a very pleasant stay and very fruitful deliberations. And I thank you from my heart for inviting me to this function to inaugurate your meeting here. Thank you very much.
I request Mr. Peter Franson, the President of the UP chapter of the Association, to pronounce the vote of thanks.
Governor of Uttar Pradesh, Honorable Shri B.L. Joshi, Mr. Great Man, President of the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools in India, Mr. David Hilton, Secretary of the Association of Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools also in India, Mrs. Frida Abraham, principals from all over India, dignitaries, and most valued invited guests. It is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion of the inauguration ceremony of the 90th Annual General Meeting of the Heads of Anglo-Indian Schools in India. I, on behalf of the Association of Anglo-Indian Schools in India and the entire fraternity of Anglo-Indian educators here together, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to His Excellency Shri B.L. Joshi for gracing the occasion, most especially for sharing your valuable opinions, experience and expertise with us. Thank you, sir. Please give His Excellency an applause. When I phoned His Excellency's office for reconfirming of his ability to attend the inauguration of this conference some 10 days ago, I was lost in despondency as I was told that the Vice President will be visiting Allahabad and he might be called to the city to meet him. However, I was glad to hear that His Excellency found us worthy to reschedule his program to be with us. Your Excellency, we are humbled